How feminine soft power economy became a quiet source of influence. She sat at the kitchen table with her laptop open, scrolling through images of women who seemed to have it all figured out. The house was quiet for once. The kids were at school. Her coffee sat steaming beside her, but she barely noticed it. She was searching for something she couldn't quite name. What she didn't know yet was that she was already part of a revolution. One that didn't announce itself with manifestos or marches. It moved quietly, through screens and living rooms, reshaping how influence actually works in the modern world. This wasn't about breaking glass ceilings, it was about building something else entirely. For years, she'd been told that power looked a certain way: loud, aggressive, unapologetic. The kind that dominated boardrooms and demanded attention. But that never felt right to her. It felt like wearing someone else's clothes. She wondered if wanting influence without aggression made her weak. If choosing connection over competition meant she wasn't serious. Part of her still believed that real power required becoming someone she wasn't. What would you have done in her place? Then she noticed something. The women she admired most online weren't the loudest ones. They were the ones who made you feel something, who shared their morning routines, their struggles with balance, their honest moments of doubt. They built communities, not audiences. And somehow, that community translated into real economic power. She started paying attention differently. The shift had been happening for years. But most people missed it because it didn't look like traditional power. It looked like a mother sharing her favorite kitchen organization system, a woman documenting her journey from burnout to boundaries, someone teaching what they'd learned about financial independence through gentle, persistent storytelling. According to recent research, the creator economy now generates over $200 billion annually, with women leading growth in lifestyle, wellness, and educational content. This wasn't coincidence. It was a fundamental reimagining of how influence converts to income. But the real story wasn't in the numbers. It was in what those numbers represented. She remembered the first time she posted something personal online. Her hands had shaken. She'd almost deleted it 3 times before hitting share. It was just a photo of her messy desk and a caption about feeling overwhelmed by the gap between who she was and who she thought she should be. The response surprised her. Not because it went viral, it didn't, but because 12 women messaged her privately to say they felt the same way. 12 strangers who suddenly felt less alone. She smiled. Not because it was easy, but because something had shifted. Traditional masculine models of power operated on scarcity. Limited seats at the table. Zero-sum competition. The idea that for someone to win, others must lose. But what she was witnessing operated on a different principle entirely. Abundance. The more vulnerable you were, the more people connected. The more you helped others succeed, the more your own influence grew. This was feminine, soft power. And it was quietly rewriting economic rules. But let's be clear about what this actually means. Soft power doesn't mean weak power. It means influence that flows through attraction rather than coercion, through authenticity rather than authority, through building trust instead of demanding compliance. In practical terms, it looked like this. A woman shares her journey learning to invest. She doesn't claim expertise. She documents her mistakes, her research process, her small wins. Over time, people trust her precisely because she never pretended to have all the answers. When she eventually creates a course or recommends a resource, her community listens. Not because she demanded their attention, but because she earned their trust. The conversion isn't immediate, it's cumulative. And it's powerful. Then came the doubt. The kind that whispers louder than failure. She started second-guessing everything. Was sharing her story really valuable, or was it just narcissism? Was building influence online authentic, or was she just performing a version of herself? Part of her felt guilty for wanting economic independence through something that didn't look like traditional work. Maybe success just wasn't meant for someone like her. But then she looked closer at what was actually happening in the economy. Women weren't just participating in the creator space, they were dominating entire sectors of it. Lifestyle content, wellness coaching, educational resources, home-based business consulting. Not because these were soft industries, but because they required skills that had been undervalued for decades. Emotional intelligence, community building, the ability to make complex information accessible, the patience to nurture long-term relationships instead of chasing quick transactions. These weren't lesser skills. They were the skills that actually drive sustainable economic growth in a digital age. She thought about her grandmother, who'd been brilliant with people but never had the opportunity to turn that gift into income. About her mother, who'd managed complex household logistics that would put most project managers to shame, but never saw it as a marketable skill. Something was finally changing. The feminine soft power economy wasn't just about making money from home. It was about recognizing that influence built on authenticity and connection could generate real wealth. That you didn't need to adopt masculine power structures to access economic freedom. That there was an entirely different path available. Sometimes growth doesn't look like progress. It looks like staying true to yourself while the world catches up. She started noticing the patterns everywhere. A woman teaching time management strategies specifically for mothers. Another, creating financial literacy content that acknowledged the emotional complexity of money. Someone else building a consulting business around helping women transition from corporate careers to entrepreneurship without losing themselves in the process. Each one built their influence differently than traditional business models suggested. They led with value. They shared generously. They created community before asking for anything in return. And somehow, that approach was proving more profitable than the old extractive models. According to recent data, micro-influencers, those with smaller, highly engaged audiences, often see higher conversion rates than mega-influencers. Why? Because trust scales better than reach. A woman with 5,000 followers who genuinely knows her community can generate more economic impact than someone with 1 million passive observers. This inverted everything she thought she knew about influence. But the idea didn't come from a business book. It came from watching women in her online communities support each other. Someone would ask for help, and 3 people would jump in with resources. Another would share a struggle. And the responses weren't just sympathy, they were practical solutions, connections, opportunities. This was economic infrastructure being built through relationship, through care, through the kind of emotional labor that capitalism had historically refused to compensate. Until now, she almost gave up. The algorithm changed. Her reach dropped. She posted something that landed flat. For 2 weeks, she questioned everything. Maybe this whole thing was a waste of time. Maybe she should just go back to looking for traditional work. Then one message changed everything. A woman she'd never met wrote to say that something she'd shared 6 months ago had helped her finally start the business she'd been planning for 3 years. She didn't just thank her. She told her the specific sentence that had shifted her perspective. The exact moment of the video where something clicked. It wasn't the content she thought was her best work. It was something she'd almost not posted because it felt too simple, too obvious. But obvious to her was revolutionary to someone else. This was the paradox of soft power. You couldn't force it. You couldn't manufacture it. It emerged from consistency, authenticity, and genuine care for the people you were serving. The moment you tried to manipulate it into existence, it dissolved. But when you built it honestly, it became almost indestructible. She started thinking about power differently. Not as something you took, but as something you cultivated. Not as dominance, but as influence. Not as control, but as connection. The feminine soft power economy was really just a recognition that these qualities historically dismissed as soft or feminine, and therefore less valuable, were actually the foundation of sustainable economic systems in a connected world. Think about it. Traditional hierarchical power structures worked in a world of limited information and geographical constraints. But in a digital, globally connected economy, the old models were breaking down. You couldn't force people to pay attention anymore. You couldn't rely on gatekeepers to grant access. You couldn't build sustainable income on extraction and scarcity. The new economy rewarded the opposite: generosity, transparency, community. All the things that soft power had always been built on. What would you have done in her place? She started experimenting, not with manipulation tactics or growth hacks, but with deeper authenticity. She shared the messy middle, not just the highlight reel. She admitted when she didn't know something. She asked her community what they actually needed, instead of assuming. The growth was slower than the get-rich-quick promises she saw everywhere, but it was real, and it was hers. Here's what she learned that the business books didn't teach. Feminine soft power in the economy isn't about being nice or accommodating. It's about understanding that influence in a networked world operates on different principles than industrial-age power structures. It's strategic, it's intentional, and it's incredibly effective. A woman building a coaching business through soft power doesn't undercharge because she's afraid to ask for money. She builds such deep trust with her audience that price resistance dissolves. Her clients become advocates. Her community becomes her marketing engine. Her authenticity becomes her competitive advantage. This isn't manipulation. It's alignment between values and strategy. She started seeing examples everywhere. A mother who documented her debt-free journey and built a financial education platform. A woman who shared her healing process and created a wellness consulting business. Someone who talked openly about the challenges of entrepreneurship and attracted clients who valued honesty over hype. Each one leveraged soft power, vulnerability, community, authentic connection into real economic influence. But there's a warning here too. The rise of feminine soft power in the economy doesn't mean the game is suddenly fair. Women, especially women of color, still face significant barriers. The emotional labor that builds soft power is real labor that often goes uncompensated. And there's a thin line between authentic vulnerability and performing trauma for engagement. The revolution is real, but it's not complete. Then came another wave of doubt. She watched other women seem to grow faster, saw people with less experience landing bigger opportunities, wondered if she was doing something wrong, if her approach was too slow, too quiet, too small. Sometimes growth doesn't look like progress, it looks like staying. Disclaimer: this content is for educational purposes only and does not replace consultation or assistance from a professional. Always consult a qualified professional for any questions related to finance, business, or investments. She kept going anyway, because she'd started to understand something crucial: soft power compounds. Every genuine connection you make, every piece of value you provide, every moment of authentic vulnerability that helps someone else feel less alone, it all accumulates. Not immediately, not obviously, but inevitably. 6 months later, she had her first 4-figure month. Not from a single viral post or a lucky break, but from the steady accumulation of trust, value, and connection. Her workspace was still her kitchen counter. Her schedule still revolved around school pickups and family dinner. But something fundamental had shifted. She'd stopped asking permission to build something of her own. The feminine soft power economy isn't a trend. It's a correction, a recognition that influence built on authenticity, emotional intelligence, and genuine care for community is not just morally better, it's economically more sustainable than extraction-based models. Women aren't succeeding despite their approach. They're succeeding because of it. She thought about all the women still sitting where she'd been a year ago, scrolling through other people's success, wondering if there was a path that didn't require becoming someone else, feeling guilty for wanting more while also believing they deserved less. What helped her most wasn't just finding the right tools or strategies, though those mattered. It was realizing she didn't need permission to start small. She didn't need to have everything figured out. She just needed to begin, honestly and consistently. There were resources that made the path clearer, platforms that understood this new model of building influence, tools designed for creators who valued community over clout, courses taught by women who'd walked this path and wanted to make it easier for others. She tested several before finding what truly worked for her journey. The right planner that helped her balance content creation with family life. A simple lighting setup that made her videos feel more professional without requiring a studio. An online business course that understood the unique challenges of building from home while managing everything else. This isn't a promotion, just an acknowledgement that having the right support makes the path a little lighter. If you're looking to explore this space, there are resources linked below. But the real tool is your willingness to start before you're ready. The truth about soft power is that it requires patience. In a world addicted to instant results, building genuine influence through authentic connection feels slow. But slow isn't the same as ineffective. A tree that grows slowly develops deeper roots. A community that forms gradually creates stronger bonds. This is the long game, and it's worth playing. She started noticing changes beyond her bank account. The way she talked to herself shifted. The guilt about wanting more began to dissolve. She stopped apologizing for taking up space, for having ambitions, for building something that mattered to her. Her workspace was still her kitchen counter, but it no longer felt like chaos. It felt like possibility. What would you have done in her place? The feminine soft power economy is still being written. Every woman who chooses authenticity over performance, community over competition, and sustainable growth over extractive scaling is adding a new chapter. You're not too late. You're not too small. You're not too whatever you think disqualifies you. The entire point of this revolution is that the old gatekeepers don't get to decide anymore. She thought about where she wanted to be in 5 years. Not the fantasy version with the perfect aesthetic and the massive following. The real version: what did economic freedom actually look like for her? What impact did she want to have? What kind of community did she want to build? The answers surprised her. They were simpler than she expected, more focused on meaning than metrics. Sometimes the most radical thing you can do is define success for yourself, not chase someone else's vision of what your life should look like. Not perform achievement for an audience. Just build something authentic that serves people you genuinely care about. That's soft power. That's the revolution. When she poured her coffee the next morning, it was still hot. Because this time, she wasn't rushing through someone else's agenda. She was building her own. One genuine connection at a time. One piece of honest value at a time. One small brave decision at a time. The feminine soft power economy isn't about changing who you are to fit the system. It's about building a new system that recognizes who you've always been as valuable. Tell us what part of this story resonated with you most, and where you're watching from. Your journey might just inspire the next one. Tell us which country or city you're watching from. See you in the next video.